A very special thank you to everybody who tunes in to the Justin Podcast. And I also want to give a special thanks to all my sponsors. This portion of Justin Podcast is brought to you by Uber. That's right, it's literally brought to you by Uber. Because let me tell y'all something, if I ain't make no money this past week driving with them, I probably wouldn't be sitting on my ass doing this podcast. But I got a little bit of pocket change so I can sit down and enjoy myself and enjoy this Sunday just like I hope that you guys are enjoying it. Now, I took my first drive, on last Sunday, I think, and probably from about 3:15 to about 5:30, went all through here, Clearwater, St. Pete, in that little bit of time, man, I made me an easy little $50, man. So I tell you, if you can make $50 in a couple hours, I mean, I think that it's all worth it. But if you don't want to, necessarily do that, if you don't feel like dealing with the hustle and bustle of traffic, don't worry, because you can just go ahead and take a ride too with Uber. Go ahead and download the Uber app for more details.
O'Reilly. It's O Rewards Member Appreciation Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Stop in today and check out store-wide savings plus earn double points on over 225 items. It's our way of saying thank you. If you're not already a member, sign up today during O Rewards Member Appreciation Month. It's fast, easy, and free. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
He's considered to be the greatest announcer in XTV history. And now, Justin Turkeyleg brings his famous voice along with his awesome friends to the podcast world. This is Justin's Podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Justin's Podcast. You know who it is, Ernest Justin Turkeyleg, with another episode. And we just keeping it rolling, and I want to thank you guys so much for being patient with XTV and sticking around with us as we go through this process of trying to keep money in the building and trying to put out content at the same time, trying to stay healthy, stay in tip-top shape. And all these different things going on. Trying to see people, you know what I mean? You got to appreciate those things in life that are free. I got this new book, Thinking Real Rich. I think that it said something like that, man. It really touched me. It was just like, all the things that's free in life. All the things that we ought to really cherish, and all the things that's not free is stuff that you can easily replace. And somebody had, I guess I had been told that, forever ago. But for some reason, on that morning when I was listening to it, it really hit me. Good show today, ladies and gentlemen. AVW is the guest. And, he's got a head full of ideas, to say the least. Always calm and collected, unlike myself. I let him have it. I let his ass have it at the beginning of the podcast for about 20 minutes. And I'm sure there's going to be some editing going on throughout that process. But I mean, it's kind of crazy because I remember the first time I interviewed AVW, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I want to do this show called Justin's Podcast. Well, I didn't have a name for it, but I knew that I wanted to do a podcast. So I'm like, all right, I want to do a podcast. I want to give it a go. I want to try it. Okay, who's going to be my first guest? My first guest got to be somebody that's that represents what I'm trying to do here. So who better than the person who created it, right? Who better than the creator to sort of break down the fourth wall with. That's what makes sense. Because I was thinking, if I did it with a character, even if I did it with somebody that's as blatant as Bob, people would have looked at it like, oh, they just playing, they just working. But if I do it with AVW, it's like, oh, this is a real thing. It's like, how do you make that work? You know, how do I talk to myself and make it compelling? And but yes, I mean, my point is that the first time I sat down with him for the interview, it was like within the first 5 minutes I realized, oh, this is gonna be a piece of cake. This is gonna be easy. Yeah, because I know AVW. He is I and I am him. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, you know, AVW got a tendency of making things awkward, and this is the point that I was worried about, is the fact that like he be trying to act like he a character. You know, he'll just say a line. You know, and maybe y'all don't know him well enough to know when he doing it, but I do. And I call him out on his shit. Like, hey man, stop doing that bullshit. Oh, I'm gonna say this because this the proper thing to say. No, that ain't what you do. That's what we do. We characters, you a human. Just stay in your place and this thing will work out fine. See? That's when you be trying to be funny and all this. Nah, that shit don't work. You not funny, we funny. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. A few things on my mind this week, ladies and gentlemen. NXTV, I'm guessing, is going to be coming back in the month of November. They're taking October to work on Howard's life. And I said to Howard, hey man, boy, you better have your shit together, because you holding up NXTV, and you know it's the most important thing on the XTV World channel. And you know, he just kind of looked at me as if to say, motherfucker, I'm under enough stress and enough pressure. You want to come around with this bullshit? But I mean, you know, I just wanted to drop the bug in his ear that, you know, that's what the deal is. A lot of people looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. You know, I've seen a lot of the things that they're doing. It's Howard's first time being like, you know, the head of something like this. You know, most of the time in XTV, either I'm leading the charge, Bob's leading the charge, but when somebody like Tavares doing things, he called his own shots, and that's how it is in XTV. You know, like, you know, because he a leading guy. You know what I mean? So he called his own shots. He worked with who he want to work with. And it's you know, I always find that very interesting. Like for example, with the Mortal Kombat thing, you know, it was myself and Bob, and it was others, like Monster was behind the scenes, so was Terry, you know. But mostly me and Bob was hands on with the characters, you know, as far as like, you know, getting their lines ready, you know, getting them in action, cussing them out, yelling at them, you know, those things, you know, being smart asses. You know, it's usually us, me and Bob, but we're not over there, you know, dealing with that thing, and I think that's real cool. I've seen Starboy, Yaki, Walter, just to name a few, you know, of the people that Tavares working with here in XTV, and so you know, that's really, really cool that they got that going on. But that's what the holdup has been with NXTV. Also, gotta mention Killer going one-on-one up against Payne. Not sure if I mentioned it on this show, but it is going to go down. We don't know the platform just yet. You know, they were asking me about Twitch and how that works, but these things I'll have to show you guys. I mean, you know, like, you know, the West Coast have never, you know, done anything like this. They haven't even, you know, done a show at all. You know, no kind of show at no capacity. And so they're coming out with Miami Beatdown. That's going to be their first show out the gate on any platform in a long time, since probably like 2012. And, you know, they rolling out the red carpet, literally. Have invited some guests from the East Coast to be a part of it, Terry Williams and Tavares Howard, just to name a couple, you know, to be a part of this monumental event. I haven't got my invite just yet, but I'm looking forward to it, absolutely, of course, because, you know, it's got the fight of the century. Killer going one-on-one up against Payne. For years, people have been saying, who's going to take it? Who's got this matchup? Killer, Mr. XTV Mania, Mr. Headliner, the guy that always wins, that always gets the last laugh versus that boxing machine. And of course, this will be taking place, in a boxing ring on fight night. I believe it's fight night round 2. Got a lot of significance. This is the one that the guys just could not beat. So, and plus it was also shown to them by Justin, not me or my son, but this other guy named Justin, Tony B's dad's stepson, Justin, who showed them that game. He got murdered. And this show, Miami Beatdown, is sort of a Miami Beatdown 2, actually. It's actually a sort of a tribute to him. He showed him that game fight night, so, that fight is sort of a tribute. And plus, they never could beat the game. So this Killer versus Pain match is going to be that. Of course, I think that Killer's going to be first player. Pain going to be AI. And let's get it on. I think that's how it's going down because of the whole significance of the matter. Also, Charles Dean one-on-one up against that 80s guy. These guys are going to be in a retirement matchup. Both of these guys are retiring, I believe, after this. I think it's going to be it for both of them. 60 minutes. To my recollection, and I'll go back if I'm wrong, but to my recollection, 80s guys never beat Charles Dean. And on those past couple shows, but I might be wrong. People have argued that they won and won. I have to go back. But this is supposed to be the be-all, end-all. Iron Man match. These guys are going to go at it one-on-one. Dean and 80s. 2 XTV classics. Two very unique stories, unlike any other here in XTV. Chapters coming to an end at Miami Beatdown, and of course the red carpet, and also a basketball game that's going to go down between Wells and DT. Excuse me, I couldn't remember who it was, but it's going to be Wells and DT in a pickup game. They showed me the game yesterday. They got the game. They ain't turned it on to see if they got pickup games. They ain't look it up or nothing like that, but it's scheduled. They scheduled something like this once before, and they got on the game and realized they ain't have pickup games. They're going to get mad at the game for not having it. You need to be mad at yourself for not doing the damn research, motherfucker. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it. I thought I had one more thing. Yeah, I do need to start taking better notes. I need to take notes. Yeah, that's one of the things that who was it? Jim Rohn was talking about. When you got a lot of stuff to say, make notes. And you're gonna hear in this podcast AVW say, that I liken myself after JR. I must not, cause I don't take notes. JR take notes. And speaking of that, if you got Audible.com, ladies and gentlemen. Check out Slobber Knocker, My Life in Wrestling. I just finished it this week. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Great stories in there from JR. Yeah, what more can you say about one of the greatest storytellers in wrestling of all time? So yeah, it's definitely a great, fascinating read. I was looking at some of the reviews before I read it, and reviews can sort of turn you off from things that probably ain't really that bad. Like one of the reviews is saying, "Oh, it ends with WrestleMania 15, The Rock versus Stone Cold," but I'm like, man, screw that, because I wanted the book for a long time, and I got it, and it was worthwhile. It was worthwhile. A lot of sad stuff, but a lot of happy stuff in it. Not a lot of sad stuff. JR got such a great sense of humor, and he got a way of putting things on you to where he lay you down easy, and it don't hurt too bad. He take the sting out, but he talks about losing his father and his mother, and anybody knows, everybody knows about the connection to close family members, and how devastating it could be to to lose somebody. So those things are tough. And plus, he lost his late wife not too long ago. Not too long after the book came out, or before the book, something like that. So yeah, those things always hit me hard. But besides that, not to end on a somber note, but on this other side, on the other side of this here break, I'm gonna chew AVW out. I'm gonna give him a piece of my mind, and we're gonna break a little kayfabe. Stay tuned, everybody.
Well, spank my bottom and call me polyethylene. I'm recyclable. Hi, Tom Bodette for Motel 6. In the spirit of conservation, this commercial uses 100% recycled words. Yep, just like water bottles or cans of garbanzo beans. I've used all 160-odd words in this commercial before to describe Motel 6, like clean, comfortable, and lowest price of any national chain. That was a whole six-pack I just recycled there. I figure why make new words when those work just fine? So I can tell you what a great value Motel 6 always has been and still is without contributing to a verbal landfill or increasing my jargon footprint. I see it as doing our part to conserve our precious verbal resources, and that feels pretty good. Almost as good as saving money. I bet this'll sound familiar too. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you. Book online at motel6.com.
We're gonna do it gorilla style just like last time. Right? Ain't nothing changed. You got all big on me, Justin. No, don't try that. Don't try that at all. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. The one who did it. He did it. The guilty one. Easy, man. Yeah, try to sit up there and play all innocent. I knew he was gonna do this. Oh man, I'm just a regular normal guy. No, you ain't. AVW is here, ladies and gentlemen. The creator, the originator. What you gotta say, man? Well, I mean, Justin, I don't understand why you come in so hostile, man. You sitting up there with that shit-eating grin. You know what it is to me? I ain't doing nothing, man. I'm coughing too. Now, damn it. You don't do what you did to me. You don't do that to your favorite creation. Justin, you got something you want to get off your chest? Ladies and gentlemen. But I don't even know, man. I mean, time moves so fast, I lose track of what year it is. But many years ago, I think in 2005 it was, this motherfucker here said, you know what, Justin, I want you to have a little dick. And you shrunk my dick. I gave you a wife. Yeah, but that ain't coming till later. You always had Martha. Man, you ain't giving me a hot-ass wife. You gave me a damn church wife. It's best for you, Justin. It's opposites attract. Plus, I know that, you know, watch it, Joette, all right? I can't believe you called me that. I ain't heard nobody call me that in years. Well, that's what we call you here at XTV. Don't try to get all brand new, man. All right? I'm not, man. I'm keeping it real. All right, now I'm coming at you. I'm coming with the hard shit. Because you sit up there and you make me take the bulk of everything. You understand? And it's you. You are the one. Let's say Justin did it. If I forget something, oh, blame Justin. You know what I'm saying? If I do something wrong, it'd be you. AVW, ladies and gentlemen, fucks up all the time. He sits up there, he smokes his dope, he comes up with shit, and he can't keep up with over 1,000 damn characters. So what he do? He fucks shit up. Let it out, man. Let it out. And then he want to sit up there. I'm the cool one. Make Justin be all frustrated. He crazy, y'all. Hey, man. That's how he is, man. People, and you probably know somebody like this, ladies and gentlemen. You probably got somebody like this in your family. They want to sit up there and be all sweet out in public. You know what I mean? But behind closed doors, they want to raise hell. Man, I tell you. You see, the first time we had this sit down, we was in the truck, and it was a brand new idea. AVW was my very first guest. We were sitting there in the truck, weren't we? Yeah, we was in the truck. We was in the truck. We hit record. It was probably on I-75. And we was just talking about XTV. We talked about the creation of it, how it was made, everything under the sun. Then we got cut off because, well, we made it back to the hub and it was time to go. And not only that, but it took 50 episodes for the originator to just peek his head in. Couldn't get him on the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I've got podcasts set up for Tia Ray and Akira Ray. I got podcasts set up with Walter and his entire family. The whole family. I was with Taurus and Aaron. I got a lot of things going on. And what's been holding me up? Why haven't you seen Justin's podcast? This motherfucker on. Too busy for his own damn self. I said, AVW, you need to get your life in order. You know, he's sitting around here on all this meditation junk. Oh, I'm meditating. I'm working out. You know, you're thinking about a million things. You need to sit down, man. Because if you can't even have a sit-down interview with yourself, who's going to be able to sit down with you? That's what I said to him. Am I lying? He said it. You feel better, man? Man, don't ask me if I feel better. You don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck how I feel. That hurts, Justin. Do you feel the hurt? You don't care, AVW. You a thespian. What you just called me? You know what? And another thing. Along this here road that we doing this here banter. Don't try to be a character. You're not a character. You AV fucking W, boring ass motherfucker that got characters. So sit your ass down. Now you hurt my feelings. Stop doing that shit. Stop acting. It's my damn show. Got the flow, man. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it's certain people on my show, certain guests, people like Bob Classic, people like Bill Hunter, you know, like, you know, even Neil, and you know, me and Neil, we better, you know, he'll be around. But the point is that I'm making is that certain people in XTV, you know, killer. You don't see these people around. You don't see them on my podcast. And you know why? Because I don't get along with these people. These people, they get under my skin. They have gotten under my skin. They ways bother me and irk me. Y'all know me. I'm friendly. It's a good time, fun, loving Justin. That's what I'm into. Having fun. But life is life. And along comes every now and again some throwing up your ass And that would be my guess. Because think about it. He didn't have to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I used to have a big old dick. I used to walk around and I used to brag and boast about its size, about how heavy it was. And then one day, just for no reason at all, of all things that he could have done to me, you know, he could have made me Mr. Olympia. He could have made me, you know, the first ever Hall of Fame inductee of XTV. You know, he could have done a plethora of things. But what does he decide to do in the year 2005 when everybody was converting over to human? He's like, oh, Justin, I want to make you real human. I want you to have a tiny dick. And I ain't talking about like, you know, a standard size. I'm talking about Michelangelo statue. That's what he did to me. He thought it would be funny. I realize that might be a little bit too personal for some of you guys. But now that I got the man here and I can look him in his eyes, I want you to know that you're a fat son of a bitch. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Now, I'm just gonna take this verbal lashing. You know why? Because I understand that, you know, a lot of my characters might feel a certain way, but you know, maybe it's just you. You know, I mean, you know, oh no, you know, you don't ever give any of your other characters a forum to interview you, and that's one thing that I do appreciate. Yeah, man. I mean, you got to think about that. You know, I never been on Millennium Podcast. I could be, but you know, I'm on your podcast because you know what, Justin? All of those small details that you're talking about, you know, even though it's just like, you know, for ha-ha, and you know, just to make people laugh. That's why your voice is the most important voice. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, I wanted what you said to matter. You know, it don't really. I mean, it matter what other guys say. You know, because they got a take on it. But you know, you the voice that count, and that's all I was trying to get across. Just like when you was, you know, trying to get your son, you know, some notoriety. What did you do? You know, you kind of put him down. You know what I mean? You played the heel kind of role. You did the same thing with Miss Martha. And look at them. They starting to flourish. They future bright stars. You know, they bright stars right now, but, you know, they got a big future ahead of them. They got all the potential in the world. They got great steam and momentum. And they ain't slowing down. So that's thanks to you. Appreciate that. You gotta understand how I feel, baby. Trust me, man. I mean, listen, when things happen to you, you wanna lash out. But I mean, we all growing, you know? And as I grow, my characters grow. Alright? You know, you can go back and listen to a whole lot of recordings. You know, there was a lot more, you know, cursing involved. You know, and it's less of that now. You know, so it's a time for growth here in XTV, and you know, I know that you didn't had a whole lot built up. I expected it, Justin. I expected it. Of course, you expected it. You know who I am, the ins and outs of me. You know the ins and outs of all these characters. You don't, Justin? If I had not made it like that, then where would the realness be? Where would, you know, how could we make this real? You got to be real, man. There'll never be another Justin Turkey Leg. Thank you. All right, man. I'm trying to get it together here. We gonna get off of that. We're gonna get off of that. All right, so I got AVW here, and I mean, it's just so many things that we could possibly go through and go over. I didn't create a format for this because, I mean, like I said, the first time we didn't have a format, and so I feel like we don't need one this time because we just gonna talk about what's most interesting. Now, I guess I could start out with XTV. Let's talk about sort of the transition. That the transition that XTV's in right now. We have and in my opinion, from my standpoint, I say it started sort of in 2017, with the advent of WWE 2K17, and then we later got 18 in October when it came out. But, with NXTV playing a role in XTV, I mean, how does that compare to where XTV was? And I'm getting to something. I'm asking that for a reason. I know, Justin, I'm making you ask that. You can help Kayfabe. I don't need another Bob. This is why I don't like Bob. All right, Justin. All right. I'm just joking. You know that type of stuff riles me up. I know, man. That's why I have to do it. But people do that to you in real life, and you hate that shit. But you do it to me. Where the hell did that come from? Oh man. XTV is I mean, I gotta tell you the truth. Like, I'm trying to make it to a point to where XTV really does not really. It's not a difference. It's not really. I brought in NXTV to give like a. I don't know. I just did NXTV because I like NXT. Like I just like that concept. To me, like it's so progressive to me. It's like wrestling, and then you have this feeder system that's just so good, and like I don't know. I mean, I guess it kind of always existed because to me, everybody who was in ECW or in WCW was in WWE at some point or another, and so there's been talk that like ECW was always a feeder system for WWE, and the whole Monday Night War shit was a fucking hoax or a work or whatever. And, that's believable. But, at the end of the day, it's real people with real lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, each individual performer is an individual. And they have a real life. And so it's always like this kind of corporate kind of giant juggernaut always, hovering over and getting all the attention. Meanwhile, on the smaller level, the people that's, going from town to town and city to city and person to person, and doing the work from the bottom up. Like, it's, you don't get to see all of that stuff. You don't get to see all the hard work. So like, that's why I got excited about NXTV.
Like, that's why I got excited about it, because it's like it's like, damn, I don't know, it's like, to me, it's just so many levels to it. Like, to me, we already had characters, you know the characters, you, Romy, Killer, Trunks, Best, like all the big people, like just the main people, Bobby, like Yaki, everybody, Tavares, Yosi, Ada, just all the main people, all those people. And I just started thinking about how WWE, like the people on Monday Night Raw, the roles always changed, and in XTV, they kind of stayed the same. And it hasn't been a bad thing, I mean, those people that I named, they've been like the main people for a reason, because they so entertaining, and they just so, I don't know, they're just such seasoned characters. But I was like, shit, we come up with characters all the time. And so NXTV is like really essentially a way to just come up with just more and more characters and just see what sticks. NXTV is like it was supposed to do so much stuff, but it took on a life of its own. You know what I'm saying? It like, cause that's like, that was the point. It was like to just keep creating characters. But when we discovered the downloads, that became a whole different thing. When we discovered the downloads, because it's like we can use other people's characters, and then cause that did tie in with one of the points of making the XTV World Channel, was like, okay, make it like something that we brand with other people. You know what I mean? So yeah, in that sense, NXTV is fulfilling its purpose. But of course, you saying that, the stars were mainly going to be homegrown guys. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's what I thought. But maybe I always did want it to be other people characters. I mean, cause that was like that was always a goal of mine. I remember that being a goal, like to work with other people. Like lots of other people. Because that's why we named it World. You know what I mean? Because it's just supposed to be like just this connection, like it's like a web. But we connect in many, many ways, and not just through wrestling. Because like XTV comes first, then Universe Mode. It's not the other way around. Like, XTV is not a product of Universe Mode. What we do on Universe Mode is a product of XTV. So, and that's why, like currently right now, it's no NXTV happening, and it's been like that for the past couple months. As we speak, today is like October 21st, so right now I'm working on the Howard Show, and we finally laid down the audio. We only got 4 episodes, but damn, that's still a lot considering everything that you got to do, because we're doing everything from fucking scratch. This different from like anything we ever did before. It's a brand new type of project, and we're creating as we go, which that's what we usually do. Is never a manual for what we do, but we did like a sitcom sort of show with Raylan, and like that was basically just using the Universe Mode backstage stuff. With this, we have to create our own stuff, so it just take like longer, and then figuring out how to manipulate the characters within these camera angles and things like that. You're a little restricted, but you gotta just be creative. So we've been using a lot of green screen and stuff, and copy paste. We successfully exported the episode. We successfully exported the episode, but what happened there was, it's still like a lot of mistakes that need to be fixed in there. And we also having to work backwards from episode 4 to episode 1 so that we can show what's going to happen on the next episode. That's something new that we trying. And, I mean, just a lot of stuff, man. I mean, like, I just been thinking to myself, it got to be an easier way, honestly. And it's even, like, got me to the point where it's like, well, I probably should just, like, go to school and just do this shit, like, create all of my shit from scratch. The only reason why I avoided going to school is because it just, like, I always looked at that shit as a scam. You know what I'm saying? Like, I almost like was gonna go to like IADT or DeVry University, or even like Full Sail, like, and like this way before Full Sail had the Performance Center and all of that shit. And Orlando was fucking hell in regards to traffic. It's the devil. They got so much construction and so many people down there because of Disney World, and people always coming in because it's a tourist attraction. It's evil. But yeah, I always avoided that because of that, But I mean, shit, like with this, or like doing this green screen shit and everything I done with NXTV, my life keep on bringing me back around to this. Animating, like with this Howard show, I think that's what opened my eyes, because I'm doing so much with green screen, and once again finding myself having to be creative like I was doing with the Do the Right Thing project. But this is like such a different thing. It's way more user friendly because of the tools that I have. I don't have to like draw my own characters. I can use the characters from the game, and just but I just gotta avoid certain colors like yellow and green because of the green screen. But yeah, man, I know that's not your question, Justin, but that's what's going on in my head.
Mamma mia! Pizza Cake haven't chosen me to tell you about the new Corleone pizza. Soft white Italian dough, soaked in the finest Palermo tomato, all topped with 1 whole pound of Milano cheese. Then choose 5 toppings from the famous Pizza Cake 500. Mwah. And remember what Mama said, leave room for dessert at Pizza Cake.
Now you can buy your parts online and pick up your order at any O'Reilly Auto Parts store. No shipping cost, plus convenient pickup and easy returns. Shop your way at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Absolutely. What's interesting to me is the fact that you did connect with outside people. I mean, more recently, we've been talking with J-Dog, and we just know that later down the line, he's probably going to play an integral role. Whether that be his character or him being a voice of one of the XTV shows. But for the past year or so, you've been in here, making things with J&W Boss, exchanging conversations, and we've even made a friend with him. Talk a bit about that, because that's definitely changed XTV. Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy, man. Like, that's a special thing, to just show you, like, kind of how big the world is. Or, I don't know, maybe how small the world is. I don't know how, depending on how you look at it, because it's just like, in my book, and, I talked to J&W about it. I just said, like, it's crazy that, like, he'll listen to a Justin podcast and, like, play it all the way through, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case, that he find it entertaining. I think it's crazy that anybody will come to the XTV East Coast and find enjoyment just because it's just so specific to us and our world. it's, you know what I'm saying. You know, it got leaked out because of XTV World. You know, because Miss Martha was commissioned at the time. You know what I'm saying, and that's when I came up with the idea. So that's why Miss Martha always get the credit for for coming up with NXTV. And so naturally, what was already happening is already going, it's going to kind of get, and then we're going to talk about XTV East Coast, and that's how it happened. That's why East Coast gets subscribers now. Like last year, East Coast had like 3 or 4 subscribers, and now we up to like 16, present day. And like somebody just subscribed us the other day or something like that. And it's like, shit, I always wanted to make this a private channel because it was just supposed to be for XTV World, like for XTV, only for us and just for us to know about. And it spilled out, but that's okay because, it's kind of content for like, people who into it, But yeah, like that's crazy. Like all the stuff that we did, like Worlds Collide was fucking crazy. Like even doing the podcast, doing Justin podcast. I got nervous, Like before we did it, for 5 minutes or so, cause all the way up to it, I was game. I was like, yeah, of course I'm gonna do it. It's like it wasn't. It didn't even occur to me until I was just about to do it, and I just thought about kind of how weird it was. Like I'm about to play as a character, and like what I mean. It was like, just felt so fucking playtime with Barney type shit. Hey kids, how you doing? Party. Yeah, so I just stood in the corridor, like right out before the dining room, and I was just like, I was like at a standstill with that thought, like I'm about to do this, but then it just turned, and then I just thought about you. I thought about you, Justin, and I was just like, hell yeah, of course I'm about to do this shit, cause Justin is he the easiest character to do. He's just so easy. Like fuck. like I don't know, man. Like he's just the easiest one. With Justin I can say anything I want to. Since the first day I ever, was Justin, I don't even know how I came up with him. I just started doing it. And from the first time, like I felt the sigh of relief. From the first moment I did his voice, I knew it was like something special. I was like, oh my God, damn, that felt good. Just saying shit. And yeah, like that's how I knew that I can do it. I was like, yeah, I'm being Justin. I can do anything as Justin. That's why I abuse you so much. It's like you got a way of complimenting somebody and shitting on them at the same time. It's a funny thing. It's the truth, man. It's the honest truth. And I came in here and I did it, man. I was just like, yep. And I was a little nervous. I just didn't know how to initiate it. Like I just didn't know how to start. I was like, should I get on the line and be Justin already? Or should I be me and then switch over to Justin? Because to me, that was the weird part. Just like getting into character in front of somebody. To me, you know what I mean? Like that's what's weird. But I just quickly got over that as soon as we started talking. Because, J&W Boss is probably like the easiest fucking person to talk to in life. Like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just easy going. Like, you can say anything to that dude. And he ain't gonna judge you. Even if he is thinking some shit like in his mind, like he don't say that shit, he don't express it. He just like, which I doubt he is thinking some side shit. I don't think he think that, but I just he's just easy to talk to, man. He just easy going, and one of the nicest people you're gonna ever meet and know about. He love wrestling. He know everything about wrestling. He know more than we do, cause shit, he get into like Like I was listening to the Four Sided Podcast. I listen to that when I'm out on the road. You know, I just let it ride. Him and Connor Young over at the Four Sided Podcast. Go check it out. It's on YouTube if you haven't seen it. It's good shit. I hope they come back with some stuff. You know, Connor Young too. That's a guy that like he just he very genuine. When he speak, you can tell he just saying how he feel. And you know, he got a lot of struggles that he talk about that he go through, but if you listen to him and if you hear his enthusiasm when he talk about wrestling and shit, and you know, you just can't tell. Like you can't look at these guys and tell like if they going through hard times because they just got great spirits. And you know, J&W even invited me to be on the Four Sided Podcast one time. So you know, as myself, as me, AVW, you know. So that should be fun. You know, I don't know if I'm gonna be on camera or not. I ain't decided that. Yeah, you know, we over here. We breaking kayfabe. You know, might as well talk about it. I mean, because AVW, like, you know, your family doesn't know about XTV. Your family doesn't know. You know, nobody knows. This is a world, and you know, you alluded to, you know, privacy, you know, and making this just something that's amongst the guys in the world of XTV. You know, it's kind of like a secret club, a secret cult, and you know, nobody knows about this. I mean, you know, although, you know, you and your brother used to stay with your mom and y'all used to, you know, do it there, you know, and she could hear y'all, you know, and she would be laughing at the characters and stuff like that. Although she didn't know what was going on, she just, you know, probably just thought that, you know, y'all was just doing skits or whatever. I don't know what the hell she thought. But she would laugh sometimes, you know, when she would hear us. You know, she told us that she would be in tears laughing at us, ladies and gentlemen, which was quite the compliment. But still, though, she never questioned it because that's just the type of person she is. She's like, oh, I guess those my boys. And, you know, with you, AVW, it was just like you just never invited people into that. I mean, you know, kind of talk about that, how you got this kind of world going on that nobody knows about. Yeah, so I mean, you know, sometimes I think about that. You know what? I think about George Carlin, man. I think about, you know, it was before one of his stand-up specials, and you know, they was kind of just interviewing him, and then you know, they asked him like, what does his family think about what he does and says, and I think he said like they don't know about it. He was like, they don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? He was, I can't remember what he said, but. I guess that's just what stood out to me. The fact that he said they don't know what he does. Because to me, when I hear him say that, I'm like, they don't know. Like, why the hell would they not know? But then I think about XTV and I think about how some people actually dig it and dig what we doing. But I just feel like, you know, I feel like Connor Young. You know, because like he talk about, you know, his family not getting what he does. Like, he popular for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? He popular because they bash him for his content. You know, because they don't get it. Because they don't see him as being what he does. They like, oh, it's okay for this dude over here to do it. That's, you know, getting all these hundreds of thousands of hits. But you, no, you can't do that. And like, that's why I just never presented it to my family, because to me, or just nobody in my life, nobody know about XTV. It's like my brother and I, we was always like Toy Story, like the toys come alive and shit when everybody is gone and shit. But like, as soon as they come around, they just like fall like stiff in place. Like, that's how we was. And then like, it's been plenty of times where me and my brother be caught up, and it'll just be like everybody out there, like as far as XTV, like it'll be Yosi and Justin and Wells and LT and Killer and Bobby and like everybody, and it's just us two, and people will come out, they come peek, and we just like pause, and it's just complete silence. And they go, man, I thought y'all was out here. I thought it was a whole bunch of people out here. She's like, they like, that's just y'all? We like, oh, we was loud? Yeah, and then like that's happened a few times, and it's just like so embarrassing. Like just getting caught doing XTV, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just us. So you can't justify the other people, you know, especially when somebody is just like so fucking out there, like Big Trap or somebody, and it's like, was that you, Aunt? So I'm like, sorry. Oh, shit. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I'll tell you, man. It's an interesting thing, you know. I mean, where does XTV go though? I mean, you know, XTV, you know, has been going on since about what 19. I'll say. I mean, you know, I always want to say like 1988. You know, that's just when. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am, because my brother was born in '89. You know, and I know I was already doing it before he was around. You know, so it could have even been even in '87. Like I was born in '85. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was born July 3rd, 1985. You know what I'm saying? And so like, you know, as early as I could talk, I guess, as early as I could have an imagination. But something about wrestling made me get into, and you know, we talked about this before, but something about wrestling made me get into XTV, and I think it was because, like, probably was because I didn't have anybody to play with. I was the only child at the time, so I probably made these characters to be, you know, to be like my companions, to be my buddies. That's probably where they came from. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that my imagination, like still to this day, I just think that it's so damn vivid, you know, and it's just so damn detailed that I would get so into XTV as a child that now my new hope was to be able to share it with somebody when I was a kid, like when I was just like back in '88, like 3 or 4 years old. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to be able to share that with somebody. And I don't know if I mentioned that on the last podcast. I probably did, but yeah, you know, and that person was my brother. And I was so happy when he was born, and I kind of looked up at him, you know, like 'cause they had him in like this little baby carrier thing in the hospital. I don't know what it was called, but I just remember looking up at him because somebody pointed to it, and they was like, "There's your little brother," and I was like, "That's him?" They was like, "Yep." And he was small as hell. Just a little old baby, and I'm a little baby, and I'm looking up at him, and I'm plotting on him, and I'm like, there's my partner. Sure enough, as soon as he was old enough, he grew fast too. Thing about him, man, he always caught on to stuff so fast. Like he in IT school right now, and he catching on that shit fast. Although he's struggling with the shit, cause it's hard, he still catch on fast. He always been that way. Like that's one of his gifts. He learns shit so fast. And I like, you know, I think I tried it on him early, and he laughed, but he wasn't ready to talk yet. But I tried XTV stuff with him. You know what I mean? But I just knew he wasn't ready. I'm like, yeah, he's still babyish. But I swear, as soon as he was ready, though, he had caught on. Yep. And I could not believe how fast he caught on, because, like, he started doing it by himself, like, without me, you know? He just started doing XTV. And that's how the West Side characters gradually, you know, started their own world. Because I showed it to him, and, like, he just took it by himself, you know? And, like, yeah, we would come together, and that was the thing to do. It was like, XTV East can stand alone and XTV West can stand alone. But when they come together, oh my God, like, we just literally don't know what's going to happen. Because, I mean, there we are both. It's like honing skills, you know. We honing our fucking, all kind of skills when you're doing XTV. You know, your acting skills, your comedy skills, your improvisational skills. Like you're doing so much when you're doing XTV. Like right now with this podcast, working on fucking interview skills. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just so many benefits. You know what I mean? And so like I find myself in like these situations sometimes in real life, like having an interview or like talk to people, and like people like they kind of be in awe because I can like keep a conversation going or whatever the case may be, or like I don't know, like I can be so like elaborate on something, I guess. But I think that XTV just play like a major part, and just watching wrestling, like wrestling in general, like wrestling like has helped my vocabulary and shit. Like it's like they teach me words that I never use, but if people say it, I know it. You know what I mean? And it's like I throw people off. I don't know. It's always been that way. Like listening to Gorilla Monsoon and even Vince McMahon, like they just use big words. Even JR, shit, that nigga smart as fuck. That nigga knows some big ass words. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah. I mean, Mo breaking kayfabe here. I mean, JR is actually, who I'm deemed after. Yeah, I mean, JR, like, a lot of people look at him as the greatest of all time. So that's how I wanted you to go down as, like, the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted it to be debatable, though. Like, who is better? Is it Justin or is it Bob? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I don't want it to just be a given. I don't want it to be what I think. So it's like if I want Justin to be the greatest, he have to have somebody that's like, that's like probably even way better than him. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, you still choose Justin. You know what I'm saying? And in XTV, like it's always been that. Like, cause since we always had the West, cause the West always say, that it depends on what the East think, and it's vice versa. So, like for example, like when we was doing battles. When we was doing battle raps, like I would never make somebody one star have better bars than the other one on purpose. I would always make them both come at each other head like as hard as they possibly could, or as hard as I can make them. You know what I'm saying? Based on the character. And so like it would have to be like it would come down to what style you like. It would come down to your preference. You know what I'm saying? Because you wouldn't be able to say that one was really better than the other, but you would, you just like one better than the other. You know what I'm saying? But I always tried, just try to like diversify down to the smallest detail with XTV.
It's definitely a mouthful.
And your character didn't just come from JR though. Your character come from like a lot of people. Like come from John Witherspoon. It come from the Nutty Professor. It come from, of course, JR. It come from like a lot of different people. Like your voice from JR, your mannerisms from like John Witherspoon, like your attitude and personality kind of John Witherspoon, and JR too. You know what I'm saying? Like the newer Justin is kind of JR because Justin getting older now. You know what I'm saying? So. He kind of calming down, so he like JR.
See, now he making me old.
At least you get hard, man. At least you can get a hard on. See, I'm not that harsh. I let you have a hard on.
This is getting weird, AVW. But yeah, so much more under the sun to talk about. I mean, as the creator, I mean, who are some of your stars that you see, popping off in the future?
I mean, I got my hopes on the NXTV stars. Hopefully, what I want. I got a batch of people that I just want to be like. I want this batch of stars to be just like through the roof. Like kind of like you, like I just want like on your level, like type of stars, like like that main event, must see kind of level. I want them to be on that level. You know what I'm saying? Like can't miss. and it's like just like the original people from NXTV, like that first season, that first generation, and all of them too, even Carmen. You know what I'm saying? Like I want them to be like that. That's why Carmen is in AOA, cause she doing something different. She like Coco. You know what I'm saying? But like we got a closer eye on her. Like Coco kind of left, you know, and Coco Bandicoot is yeah. You know, she left, and I cut my own self off. I can't believe I did that. That's why I paused. I was like, wait a minute, did I? Anyways, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like just that whole batch though, like, you know, like look at Lil LT, you know what I'm saying? Like he gonna be in the Howard show, and so like people gonna get to know him through that, like not wrestling. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's probably like 16 of those. It's probably like 16 stars or 18. I don't know how many, but it's a bunch of them. You know, the first generation of NXTV, like those stars. You know, I want those. I think that's the future. That's who I got hopes for. And like it's kind of just so rocky because we got these brand new stars that came in. We got these downloaded stars that came in. Tia Ray and them, they came in, and like I wasn't expecting them to get big, and they did. I thought that I could just use them for like maybe 6 months to get other girls over, but that wasn't the case. Like they was just like too popping, you know. And I just really didn't mean it, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, but I guess deep down I like them too much to just job them out, I guess, you know. And like, cause I didn't want to confuse Cassie with Cassidy, so I thought I could just move out Cassidy and then bring Cassie in, and there won't be no confusion. Cause I knew that I would call Cassidy Cassie and vice versa. I knew I would do that. So I wanted to, you know, I didn't want them to be on the same show for that reason. And now we got one on XTV and one on NXTV. And I don't know, I think I still have done it though. I think I still have done it, but I try not to. Like I did it when I was JJ at Undeniable in her match. I was like, damn. I think you hear JJ, he was like, you know, he kind of paused like, fuck. That's right, because anytime an announcer does that type of thing on a big show like that, they get a fine. So that's why JJ reacted that way. And I think I was about to make him say that, but it's just too much explaining. So I explained it here. If you wondered why JJ just like, if you could feel his guilt. Yeah. Oh man, it's such a good time. You know, going in depth with you know, AVW. How do you feel that you've done so far? You know, you talked about those stars. I mean, how do you feel like you've done with these stars? Do you feel like the stars of NXTV are getting over? I mean, you know, it's been a little while now. I mean, it's been like what, a year and a half, close to 2 years now. You know what I mean? We're on our third game doing this. So I mean, do you think that they're over to the point that you like? Or is it satisfactory? Well, you know, I gotta be honest, man. I mean, you know, it could be better, but I'm happy with the fact that the stars that's popping. You know, cause I just feel like, damn, I just feel like I ain't done enough, but I just feel like at the same time, I'm happy that the points that I'm trying to get across are getting across. You know, like B-Boy and Sketch, like you recognize them as British Airways. Like that was important to me. You know, to no matter what, no matter if they are a team or if they by themselves, you know that it's those two. Like you just see that. Like Justin Jr. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that he got a Kevin Owens gimmick, but he is Justin Jr. You know, it's like, you know, and I'm working on that with Shannon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I feel like I can do hers better. Cassie Cage. I feel like her and Jackie Briggs, man. The thing is that, like, the second half of the movie ain't done, and I feel like it's, to me, in my head, as soon as the movie is done, those two gonna pop. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what's keeping them just like, oh, we almost there. And it's like, shit. It's like if they could start winning matches, then that'll really get them rolling. But they ain't really been winning, so it's hard. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it's hard to do the win route. You know, as far as like them getting over. You know, like they straight, they tight, they good. Like, you know, but they supposed to be like a favorite, like a big favorite, and they not quite there yet. You know, they got the potential. You know, people want to like them, but you know, you need a reason to. You know what I'm saying? And then yes, like Johnny Money too, man. He was supposed to be like the man. I'm trying to get him there, but you know, shit. So I'll probably like get Ryu over him in the time being, and then Ryu can bring him up, and then they bring each other up, or something like that. But yeah, it's just like it's all over the place, you know. You know, I don't know. I could talk about those stars forever, but yeah. I mean, the NWA ain't doing fine. I got plans for them. I always forget them. I'm like, I know it's somebody else. Oh yeah, NWA. Yeah, they doing straight. They kind of do their own thing, really. They always have. They just like whatever. Like it's like okay, so it's like everybody else, and then it's the NWA, and it's like oh, so what you gonna do with NWA? And put them in a skit. You know, make them cut an in-ring promo because you know it's like I don't know. That's just how like that group is. But with King Kong and Baby and JP and Taurus and Aaron, right now I'm at a point. It's like those guys they got to work on their personalities, especially Taurus and Aaron. You know what I'm saying? JP can like help them out. You know, so like that's what I'm trying to do with that, and then Baby gonna be like the front of that, cause King Kong he gonna be gone. So this like this how I get the other stars out like over. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's been all NWN. So if King Kong take a leave, Tyrone Andre hurt right now from the match with King Kong because he beat him up with a chair and shit, and like it was a lot of cheating shit going on. So yeah, so Tyrone out, Raylan and Jackie Z out. So that's like 4 huge stars, and I'm feeling that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling like I feel the pressure of making a fucking compelling card. You know, with a compelling main event and compelling shows like for the next 8 fucking episodes. That's the plan. Like, you know, 8 episodes. I got stuff. But shit, when it comes to sitting there and coming up with a card, I'm like, damn. You know, because I'm so used to having them. And shit, the reason I took Raylan out is I'm like, damn, she is like on every episode. So I'm going to try to make episodes without her and see if, you know. But she just became such a big part because, you know, at first, like, people was looking forward to, like, her little segments and shit. You know what I'm saying? The little doo. They was looking forward to that shit, you know what I'm saying? So like I just felt like I had to do it, and it was just fun doing stuff with Raylan. And then yeah, so with Jackie Z too. So but now it's just time to make new faces, you know what I'm saying? We're going into 2K19 and like it's a transitional period, so you know, we gotta get these stars that's on the undercard like, you know, with main event notoriety. I ain't trying to push it, I ain't trying to force it. But that's just where we at. Like, okay, now it's time to make new stars. We gotta make new stars, like big stars. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I need guys too. I need guys. Like I need main event guys. So and I think I'm thinking about LOVE. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna change his name up some kind of way, like something Love. It'll probably be J Love or something like that, cause the dude named James. So we'll call him Love, J Love. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and you know he'll come in cause he from outside, so I'll probably use him. But and probably J Dog too. You know what I'm saying? But I need like some dudes. I mean, cause like when Trap left, It was like shit. Cause I needed dudes on the main roster, but I forgot that Trap was such a big star, and it was like shit. Who the next big star to chase for the heavyweight championship? So that's why Tyrone ended up in that spot, and now Tyrone out. So it's like shit. Need another dude. We got Sketch, but Sketch doing something with Enziguri and helping Enziguri build up. You know what I'm saying? So now, right now on top, I got Justin and Kareem. They strong enough, they can do it, and they just gonna have to elevate each other. Like it's y'all time, niggas. It's y'all time. Let's come up with some good shit. Oh man, this is absolutely great stuff. Let me see. I mean, what's the time on this? I mean, we've been sitting up here for over an hour already. I mean, I done cussed you out, and now I feel bad, man, because we rolling. It's all right, Justin. I mean, like I said, as a character, I can understand how you feel. I know how you feel. I make you feel how you feel because that's how I feel. I put you in those scenarios as my way of expressing that this is how the world treats me, and this is what I think about it. So, I want to just thank you for being a good sport. You are my favorite. I'm saying it right here, right now. I love a lot of the guys. I mean, I love all the guys. I love Yosi. I love Bob. I love Yaki. I love Romy. You know what I'm saying? I even love Quan. You know what I'm saying? You said it's like in a way like, oh yeah, and his ass too. That's because he ain't real, so he ain't gonna feel it. But I do love Quan. Quan, like, a lot of people don't know, but like Quan has an existence outside of XTV. Like I got other people going, I hope you know. So it's like shit like that. Like, like that's why it's XTV World, because each character, although they might not be on the video game, although you might not hear them or see them on podcasts, which Quan was on 2GN once, but the point is that it's always just characters that just do stuff that's just like, it's never ending, because that's the world that we live in, and, in real life, like the world is just like so diverse and so full of people, and so that's the point of XTV and XTV World. Like, that's why we do it. Oh man, always a good time just listening to AVW talk about this craziness. We breaking kayfabe, ladies and gentlemen. Damn man, don't make me wait till episode 100. You know what I'm saying? I think that you should come back. I think that the people should ask questions to AVW. What do you guys want to know? Because he's in a kayfabe breaking mood. So write down in the comments what you guys want to know about XTV or any other thing. Ask him about his personal life. You know what I'm saying? Ask him about how some of the nasty things that he's done with some of these girls. Since you want to put my personal business out. You did it yourself, talking about the size of your penis. Joe, I eat booty, ladies and gentlemen. All right, cut. Oh man, great catching up with my guest AVW. I guess I should say great catching up with myself. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm personally just happy to be doing this. It's a lot of fun. I'm in regards to the podcast, that is. I mean, 50 episodes in is a pretty big deal because I remember sitting in that truck, and thinking to myself while I was listening to JR's podcast, I was like, man, it'd be kind of cool if I sat here and talk to the stars of XTV about doing about their careers. I mean, because they got real storied histories, and a whole lot of things can come out, and it's just taking on a life of its own. I mean, so many different podcasts, so many different shows, so much has come from just that single thought. And I mean, nowadays in our life, we just getting such a better perspective on things. The power of thought. Just that power, just the fact that a thought is a thing, and it's this invisible thing that you turn into a tangible thing. And to me, that's very powerful. That's magical. And that's XTV. You know what I mean? And the fact that that you listen to it, that you take the time to listen to it, means a lot to me. Goes to all the listeners. I really appreciate it because you help make it that much more real. This thing that started in the crazy ass imagination of one AVW. You fat son of a bitch. All you ever do is wing every episode and you never write down any questions anymore. You're just a lazy, old, fat, saggy, egg-sucking dog. Daniel Dingo, for the last time, I told you. Now, I don't have room. I'm fully booked. And you can't just be coming in here and crashing the doggone podcast just because you can't get a guest spot. Okay? Sorry about that. I remember I took you downstairs when you lived in the basement and I stretched in your sleep. Yes, that's very, very much true. But what Sparky the dog calls stretching, I wouldn't call it that, but I digress, ladies and gentlemen. We're breaking all kind of kayfabe here. That's not something that I want to talk about. Thanks a lot, Sparky. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be your host, Ernest Justin Turkey Leg. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this show. And it's like I said during during this podcast. I got a whole lot more people coming. My boy Henry Hank is agreed to peek his head in once again. I got my boy Two Rings. He coming back. That's right. And a lot of other surprises. Tia and Akira, they gonna be here. Yeah, man, big deal, big time guests. So y'all just stay tuned for more of Justin's podcast. It's a good time. All right, we'll see you next time.